3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. I thought I caught you out because you thought it was going to be banners and music.
Yeah, I was waiting for the rest of it. It's like I was like just settling in there for the sort of 2 minutes, and it's like, oh,
no, it's cutbacks.
I'm on screen.
Yeah,
it's like, what's going on? Last week we couldn't get the credits to work properly, and this week he's put them short on purpose to catch us out.
To be honest, you know what? I was on a bit of a hop because I was like, with work, I was like, kind of, I had to be late, got caught in traffic, and it was like, you know, but just I didn't quite get, you know, doing what I wanted to do in time, you know. So you know, but that's fun. We're getting there, and the main thing is, Die. Let me get that. We've got Die here. They'll Die Pal 3. That's right, isn't it? Pal 3.
Yeah,
that's right. Thank you very much for coming on. Let me just get the names up. Hold on, people. Let's have a look. Here we go. So you know who we are. All right. Right. I hope everyone's had a good week. You had a good week, Di? How about you, Nat?
It's been okay. I'm powering through it. It's last minute. Everything's been last minute this week. It's been doing my head in.
Tell me about it.
But I'm getting there. It's Friday now, so I've only got 2 more days left of it. Hopefully it reset.
No.
Back to Monday.
Yeah, back to Monday.
Yeah.
As long as you've got your lottery on.
How's your week been, Di?
Cold, wet, and depressing.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah,
I live in Lincolnshire. What do you expect?
It's England, isn't it? It's England.
Yeah, well, that's what we said the other day. My friend's daughter was trying to help us with the horses, and I said, "Oh, I'll put her off really quick because it's like typical English weather." And she just went, "Yeah, it's typical English weather. I'm used to it." And I was like, "Oh, right, okay." It's like grey, wet, brown, muddy, dirty, cold.
That's what it is, isn't it? It's just, you know, I can remember going back about, well, I don't know, 15, 20 years now, maybe a bit longer, but we used to have seasons. You know, it was spring, summer, winter, and winter was, I can remember proper snow, where you'd like kind of have trouble pushing the door open. You know, now it's just blended into kind of one. We get really freezing cold, icy nights. Not much that way in the way of snow, and we get boiling hot summers. It seems to be not so much seasons as extremes of weather.
It is random. To be fair, with all the potholes in the road, we don't need snow, do we really? Because we need to be able to see all the potholes at the moment. There's so many.
I know. Knocks the stuffing out the car.
Complaining of the weather, complaining of this, and all this potholes.
Yeah, he's the one. He's the blame.
See, we're from the UK. We have to complain about the weather and the roads. It's tradition.
We complain.
Yeah, we have to complain. It's in our genetics.
I was in the shop the other day, and I said to somebody stood behind me, "You can go all over Europe, and you can spot the British. They always form a queue." You know, I'm standing and waiting to pick something off the shelf. I've got a queue forming behind me.
That is true. The queuing. Queuing, the weather, tea as well. Don't forget the tea.
Tea. I mean, midweek when I was talking to Phil, you know, I have a pint mug that says "I love tea" on it. You know, and I drink about 5 to 8 pints of that a day.
Wow, that's
I do as
hardcore.
well. I do as well in my Dogman TP car.
We're about to know advertising.
Yeah, I know. That's it. Yeah, little
As you're
plug there.
sponsoring
Little plug.
yourself,
Yeah.
it's like
Oh, please check out the store on links in the description or on the channel actually. Yeah. Bargain for Christmas. Makes a lovely Christmas present. It doesn't come with any tea bags though. My favorite tea is char. I like a char.
okay.
Bit spicy, but so I'm like that, bit spicy.
York,
What about you, Di? Which is your favourite tea bag?
I like Yorkshire tea.
I was going to say you look like a Yorkshire or a Tetley person. I couldn't decide.
I mean, I used to drink tea with milk until I became dairy intolerant.
Okay.
But then, when I was in the military, I did some time in the Armed Reserves. When you anybody who's been in the military will understand the tea that you get in the ration packs. It's like rust remover. It's awful. It's what the hell's this stuff? It's horrible. It used to clean your teeth just swilling your stuff. It's horrible. But I got so used to drinking black tea that when I came out the military and stopped doing it completely, would you like milk? No. Black tea for me, please.
Yeah. Just in case they're watching over your shoulder and you know.
Yep, leave the tea bag in. Good squeeze.
Yeah, I've heard about the military tea and the military coffee. Both of them. They're an experience apparently.
Well, it was an experience for me because luckily I was a quartermaster, so I got the stores, and then okay, I'm going to take the Yorkie bars and the Mars bars out the ration packs. Sausages, I'll have them as well. So you put them to one side, and then anybody with a bit of seniority. Yeah. Have you got any sausages? Yeah. What's it going to cost you? Excuse me, Sergeant, do you have any chocolate? I didn't get any chocolate in mine.
Terrible
You must have got one of those boxes that don't have the chocolate. Yeah. Oh, I've got about 30 bars of chocolate.
So you've got a cat. I don't know if you've ever read Catch-22. It sounds like a Catch-22 situation going on, where they've got the black market sort of going around the army camp.
We were much worse than that,
I don't know.
We had an executive officer who was a budgie. He had a feather in his cap. The hackle. And when we give the orders for the week, what we had to order up, we give him the chit, and and sign that. He didn't realise that on the bottom we ordered some birdseed. He said, "What are birdseed for?" So we put it on his desk, and there's for your bird. We were awful.
It's great.
Okay. I just want to briefly say hello to people in the chats. We've got Keith Aston, Larry Luttrell. I'll tell you what, with Larry, hello mate, you're right. Reminds me, actually. Hang on. Now, right, I'm going to show you something which right, okay, let's have a look. Where is it? Might have been a little while. One of these okay, yeah, here we go. Right. Okay, right. I saw one of these posts on a friend's feed, and I'm very fond of this guy. So, and it reads, "I'm not going to get rid of friends over this, but it's important to me fighting the black dog. Well, I'm going to say bye-bye to some of you. Now, I'm watching the ones who will have the time to read this post until the end. Pardon me. This is a little test just to see who reads and who shares without reading. If you have read everything, select like, so I can put a thank you on your profile. I know that 90%, 97% of you won't broadcast this, but my friends will be the 3% that do. Please, in honor of someone who is fighting, I won't say the S word, or mental health issues and PTSD, copy, paste, and write, done. Thank you. I said, Larry, thank you very much. Now, rightly so, I did do that. Now, it's a little bit like if you're old enough to remember chainmail. Chainmail used to be a thing where you used to get a letter through the post, and it used to basically say, if you don't post this on, then bad things will happen to you, or something will happen, and like that. It used to be a bit of a thing back in the day.
Yeah, I remember that school. It was terrifying because the letters were like, you need to send this letter to 9 other friends, otherwise
Yeah,
curses and hexes will fall upon you.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that just isn't right. And I'll tell you who brought it home for me. And listen, I appreciate, I copied it and posted it and wrote done. The reason I did is because I've got a very high regard for Larry, very high regard, and it's done in good heart. But Rob Shelsky, who had on this program, very very clued up guy, he wrote in a comment, and I quote, like but this is a favor to you, he said to me. I really do not like people testing my friendship. Either you are my friend and trust me, or you're not. Nobody should be testing other people. First of all, it's rude. Second of all, it doesn't really accomplish anything. The third, it's rather arrogant. If you want my friendship, it is yours for the taking, but I don't like tests, and I don't think you'd like to be tested by all your friends that way either. Mind you, I have faced a black dog many times, and I do understand. For what it's worth, I wish that damn dogs had stayed with Churchill. Oh, quite cool. Now, I gave it some contemplation, and he is completely right, and I'm wrong. And I don't think, Larry, that these things should be. It's a form of, in a way, it's a form of twisting somebody's arm. I don't think it's good in their essence, because yes, there is people, but there is people with going through, especially this time of year, going through depression and going through a lot of problems. But I think posts like this have to go by the wayside. They have to be forgotten. So I'm going to take the post off, because I don't think it's right. But I do appreciate everyone that has either liked it or acknowledged it, okay, as much as they have copied and pasted it and posted it themselves. But if you're free to take it off, if you want to take it off on your post, because I don't actually agree with it. And I did say, as a reply to Rob Shelsky, it wasn't my post. I pasted from a friend who I knew was having dark time. As yourself, I felt the same, and everyone that reposted that had concerns. It does indeed seem to be a test of friendship, which for me doesn't sit right. But I felt I had to paste the content, not for myself, but for their sake, and everyone else this time of the year, if they were suffering. And it helps. Then I can live with being tested. Thank you. But then I wrote also. Oh, hang on, where am I gone? I'll come back to it. Then I wrote, basically, like I said, I wrote that where am I? Bear with. There's a gremlin. Yeah, I basically, like I've said to you, I don't think it's the right way of doing it. I think it puts people and friendships under a certain amount of pressure, which isn't a good thing. I understand it's done in good faith, but I don't think it's.
I think you're right about the chain letter thing, because I never
Hmm.
copy paste those because of that kind of vibe. I mean, I've been breaking chain letters since I was at school, which is probably why my life is miserable. Because I've
Right.
broken all the hexes in them. But it's like, but when they said chain letter, I thought, you know what, you're right, actually, because that's like a test. Like you say, it's testing, isn't it? Rather than offering support, there is an implied threat of sorts. So it's like, I think the chain letter thing, I'll remember that next time I see those things on my feed, because I think that's
Yeah.
very valid. It's
What
a very
the
valid
post I was
point.
looking, my reply in that to him was this. This is what I wrote down. The official reply I wrote, to Rob Shelsky, because he did rightly so out. He did point it out, and it wasn't until he did that it sort of slapped me around the face, and I thought, do you know what, you are right, Rob. So I wrote to him, people that did not carry on the chain of sharing, you are equally kind people because you acknowledged you didn't step over the post. As Rob Shelsky rightly pointed out, it does seem like chainmail and a test after some consideration. He is right. I am wrong. I was just concerned, hence my paste. I will talk to the person that posted it originally. I appreciate you all truly. You all truly do. So that's just clears that up for a start. And I think, these sort of things really ought to stop, because I think there's enough confrontation, there's enough pressure on people on social media, and especially at this time of the year, it's not good to add. And this sort of thing does add more pressure. And it's very difficult when you're talking to somebody face to face, like we are talking. It's quite easy to communicate because there's you can read somebody's face as well as listen to them to a certain degree. You can kind of like it goes some way to helping to understand the context of any conversation. But when you're reading it, that's where good authors come in. When you're reading it, you have to gauge. If you don't have the full details and you don't have the background, you have to gauge the context in which it's written. And that was one aspect of reading something and not fully gauging the context behind it from the point of view of why it was posted and the reason it's posted. And, so anyway, I will take the post down. If anyone's copied pasted it, take it down. I would. Okay, my recommendation. But other than that, hello, welcome Di, welcome to the Friday Night Files. Yeah, that's my little thing for this evening, but I do that. We have also Larry Luttrell, Keith Ashton, we have Roxy, yep, Dragonborn Rising, good evening. We have Kate. Hello, Kate. I spoke to you during the week. Lovely. Who else we got on? Dawn Sasquatchista. Hello. Thank you for 2 moderators. Thank you very much. And also Larry, moderator, and Keith, moderator as well. Ridley, S1D6W. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you very much, Ridley, and thank you for joining us. Appreciate that. Let's have a look. Oh, Nick Berry. Hello, Nick. You all right? I hope you're doing okay. Yeah, I got quite a few actually. Oh, it's a new one. Let's have a look. Giovanni Henrico. How do I say that, Nat?
I'm looking at this on my mobile, so the writing is literally about 1 millimeter high.
Di, how do you say that?
Don't ask me. I've got one eye.
I should imagine it's Enrique, I assume.
Enrique, yeah.
Enrique.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I've got Delroy. Enrique, thank you for joining. Appreciated. Delroy. Hello, Delroy. Let's have a look. Yeah, we've got quite a few. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Oh, hang on. Hi, Phil. Evening, everybody. Hello, Peg. How you doing, Pegler? Yep. Watch out for the high winds. You know what I mean, Pegler. Right. Okay. Di.
Hello.
First and foremost, can you let us know a little bit about yourself? Because you I was wrong. You're not actually. Are you from Wales or not?
So, without going into too much detail, my parents have a Welsh heritage and background. I was born in the northeast of England in Teesside. I'm not saying where, but close to North Yorkshire. So my family background is Welsh. So I'm technically English. But as I was saying earlier, before the chat started, sorry about the cough. I grew up with a Welsh accent, so I spoke with a Welsh accent as I grew up as a small child. And, so
I've got no idea what you just said then.
He's saying he's mostly Welsh, but he didn't live in Wales. He was born in England,
As
but
when he
he's
went
got
into
Welsh
Welsh.
heritage. His
As soon as he done that
parents
Welsh
and
accent, I
family
was
were.
lost. That's gone.
All right. So,
Is he being naughty?
oh, you're lucky.
One day I'll have the button die where I can cut Phil off. You know, when he's.
Where's my bell? Hang on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I keep threatening to. I'll get the buttons one day.
Yeah, so I grew up in the northeast of England. My family background on my mother's side is Welsh. On my dad's side, it's Romany, as in English travellers or gypsies or whatever you want to call it. A lot of stigmatization when you're growing up. You can't really tell from here, but my skin colour is olive. And growing up as a child in the 80s, going into the 90s, I was always the one that was picked on because my skin colour was olive. And I'm not being racist, but when I was at school, there wasn't very many coloured people. So it was pick on him. So there's that. I work in horticulture. I'm a kitchen gardener or horticulturist, if you want to be smarty fancy about it. And then when people do ask what you do, and I say botanical horticulturist, they go, "Okay, I shouldn't have asked that question." But yeah, I'm a walled kitchen gardener.
Oh wow!
So I, 12 months of the year, work in a wall kitchen garden, organic. It's hard work. I enjoy it. I love it. You're up at 4 o'clock in the morning to start work at 6. Which is probably why I'm yawning and coughing my head off here.
How did you fall into that then? Because that's quite. Niche isn't the right word, but the specific walled garden is very it's Victorian, is it? I think generally. Yeah. So it's unusual because it's not just.
So, I went to work in ICI, had horticultural section. Yeah, years ago. I know it was years ago because back then I had hair. I know. But where's it gone? But yeah, they had it was in a walled garden setting. And then I took the interest in gardening from there. And then I got into Askin Bryan College in York, big horticultural college. And one of the tutors said, "Right, you can do this, or that." And I said, "Can I do that instead? I like gardening. I like growing vegetables and I like cutting grass." Okay, right. Well, because when you start Askin Bryan College, what they do is they've got a 3-acre garden, and they give you a piece of paper with 10 Latin names on it. And the first week you're there, you have to go out in the garden and write the English stuff to what next to the Latin. But they don't tell you if it's a tree, a shrub, a plant, a bulb, a weed. Go and find it. Anybody that knows me knows my Latin is absolutely awful. So I couldn't do it. And the tutor turned around after the second week and said, you're not cut out for it, are you? I said, look, I can do that, but I can't do this. So they put me in a walled garden and said, try this. Oh, he can actually do it. And I've got the knowledge and the background, so I know how to do walled gardens. The walls heat up differently, and you've got greenhouses, so you're doing nurserymen. You're growing trees, shrubs, plants, bulbs, herbs, everything. And that's where I basically started. And then from there, like I say, I left Askham Bryan in York and got the qualification, level 2. Level 2 then turned into National Certificate in Horticulture, National Diploma, and then became a Smarty Pants as I started to get higher up in the levels, little brown nose. And yeah, I've enjoyed it. I'm as high as I can go at my level. Unfortunately, I had I used to do martial arts, so I've done Aikido, I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then I got into doing wrestling. And then while I was doing wrestling, somebody hit me with a cricket bat because they lost the match, and it cracked my vertebrae in my spine, which in later time, about 3 years ago, I fell down the stairs and I ended up in bad way. So now I walk with a walking stick, which means I can't do heavy digging, I can't do this, and I can't do that. I can't pick this up, I can't move that wheelbarrow. So I now do what my tutor used to do: is I stand on the sidelines, got a pipe in my mouth, point with the pipe, stand there with a drinking tea and do it like this, do it like that, and don't do it like that. Yeah. So I've turned into my tutor. Which is great fun. You don't dig like that, There is a place in horticulture I'm not allowed to go back to because I, without swearing, I really upset the lad that works in the office, because he came out and he was being sarcastic to me. How qualifies you to be different? And I said, look, lick your finger. I said, stick it in that. This is compost. You can tell it's compost. You can taste the compost and the grit on your tongue. All right, right. Do this and stick it in the finger. I said, do it. I said, this is soil. You can taste the soil, the pH. And, oh yeah, right. And then I licked that finger, but stuck that finger in the dirt and put that finger in my mouth. So he went, what's this? I said, that's cow manure. I said, mine's on that finger. Ew, we're awful.
Yeah, I like it. That's
It could have been worse. It could have been chicken manure.
Oh no, we don't use that.
Imagine?
No, we don't use chicken manure.
Cow manure is relatively benign in comparison.
The reason why a lot of organic gardeners use cow manure is because a cow has 4 stomachs and it comes out like water. Horses eat a lot of grass and weeds, and that comes out like little balls, which are basically seed balls. So if you want weeds in your garden, horse manure. If you want good feed for your tomato plants, you use sheep muck in a drawstring bag and soak it in the water. Pellets from the chicken farms, no, don't use them.
I had an argument with a Welsh farmer when I was a teenager, because I used to spend a lot of time gardening when we lived in Wales, and I'd got horses, so I'd got the horse manure, and he was like, you can't grow vegetables, with horse manure, you need cow manure, or you won't grow any decent vegetables. And I was just like, well, I've got to use what I've got. come the end of the season, my carrots were a foot long. My parsnips were big enough to club someone over the head with. And I ended up sort of leaving him a bag of vegetables in the end. And it was just sort of like, my carrots are bigger than your carrots. And that's grown on horse manure.
Well,
I had an argument with him about it. But to be fair, it wasn't just horse manure. I used to compost it properly, but it had other things in it as well, like leaf mold and everything. So, I mean, it wasn't straight horse manure, to be fair.
well,
but yes, he was adamant that the cow manure was the best for vegetables.
I've cheated twice with growing competitions. We did. There was a private allotment, public allotment, and then there was the gardens. And the management committee of the allotment said, "We want you to grow the biggest sweet corn plant you can grow." Okay. They all grew theirs at 7 foot, and they were all smart. Well, you can get better than us. And we turned up, and I had 6'1", and I was like that. And it's something like 9.5 foot with the root. I said, and this is the small one. So allotments don't like us. Blue Peter, if you remember that TV program from your childhood.
Yeah.
Who can grow the tallest sunflower?
Sunflower, yeah.
I used to work for a council in a nursery, and we decided to cheat. So we got all our sunflowers together, found the one with the biggest head, cut them all up, stuck little bits of canes in the stuck it all together, stood it up. It's right. We took a photo, the 4 gardeners all standing around it, big long plant with the big head on it. And we tied some canes to it and sent the photo in. And Blue Peter said, "Yeah, can we send somebody around to check it?"
No. Like, the wind's blown it down. Whoopsie.
Yeah, the birds have got to it.
So how did you grow the big sweet corn? I know we're supposed to be talking paranormal, but how did you grow the big sweet corn then? It's like, was that just like soil quality or something?
Yeah, so being organic, so in winter, in this time of year, if you have a vegetable garden in the soil rather in you don't want compost in the garden, it's rubbish. You want soil. Dig a trench, and so you put your tatey peelings, you put your carrot peelings, you don't put the end root, you put tea bags, any bits of food that isn't cooked, so can go in there. Shovel it in, and then end of the week, just shovel it over. You're basically getting all the worms in, and the worms aerate the soil. And then, so if you do that, let's say November, December, January, February, March, by April, you come to dig the whole garden over. It's nicely aerated. There's a bit more worms in it. You've also got the cow manure you've put on while it's been broken up anyway. That's all breaking up, and you've got plenty of phosphagen and nitrogen. There's your growth.
Off you go. Oh wow.
That's the polite way of saying it. The unpolite way of saying, I've got 25 years of horticulture. Yeah.
And that's how you end up being banned from places.
Yeah. Or I could say, "Oh well, I'm a druid, so I can just talk to the plants."
Well, yeah, maybe that's actually your secret. It's got nothing to do with the soil. It's just like your magic. It's like talking to the fairies.
Can I ask it? You being a druid, how long ago did you become a druid?
Oh, you have to work this one out. So I was I was brought up as a chapel Methodist as a child, and that didn't last very long. So, of course, in chapel, the minister stands up. Anybody got any questions? And there's always one. Excuse me, I asked the one question that you're not supposed to ask. if Mary and Joseph weren't married, and who's the father? Does that make him illegitimate? Get out! So I was kicked out of the Methodist Church in 92. 93, I went to the Anglican Church. I said, "Will you lot have me?" No. Bunch of spoil sports. I then bumped into a friend of mine who is pagan, who said, "Look, you know, sit down, have a cup of tea, talk to me. I like outdoors. I like being outdoors. I like walking barefoot outdoors." He said, "Oh, okay, right." He sat me down. He tried to give me some teaching and learning, some meditation. And while I was doing the meditation, I felt like I was coming out of my body and picking up and a swirling vortex of white light, and thinking, "Oh hell, I don't like this." I grounded myself, and my friend actually turned around and said, "I think you might be better off being a pagan." So we were talking 93, 94 from there. And then from there, wasn't really sure which direction I was going to go in life, whether it could be a general standard pagan, a Celtic pagan. And then I got put in touch with my friend Brian. Brian is a Druid, and he basically took me under his shoulder and said, "Look, I'm going to teach you, but you need to have the mindset and take this genuinely serious." And for the next 12 years, I studied and studied and studied. I do have a folder in the next room. It's about that thick with paperwork, so I can bore the pants off people. But yeah, I've studied and studied and learned, and you can get tasked with everything. Learning about trees, water. Trees can speak. I mean, you can get a sound device where you can plug it into the tree, and you
I've
can
seen
listen to
that.
the tree echoing and
Yeah.
making noises. Or you can just meditate and put your hand next to the tree, or hug the tree and share the energy. But you learn different skills and different aspects. It's not just the gods and us; it's the deities, the land, the energy, the surroundings.
So paganism is paganism is the basis, is it? But is the trunk of the tree, and Druidism is like a branch coming off it, is
It's
it?
one of paganism is the branch of the tree, and there are many different paths at the top. It's like Christianity. Christianity started as that, and then it's branched out. You've got Catholics, Baptists, Anglicans, Methodists,
Yeah.
so forth. It's exactly the same in paganism. So so I learned how to become a Druid. I got taken to the National Eisteddfod in Wales, and yes, that's where I got my nice frock from. Doesn't it look nice on my bum? I did originally have a lovely white nemes, which is the proper headstaff. But I was at a hand fasting ceremony in Saltburn in the northeast, and the wind took it off.
What, blown away in the wind?
It flew away in the wind because it only went round your head and it held down. Because as the wind got up, it flapped around and then it went.
It's like, I'm taking that.
Yep. So a friend got me a nice like a big white shawl. So I thought, fling that.
Oh, wow.
My husband goes, "Oh, for God's sake, he's got that out. I'm going outside." Yeah.
It's like the world's flounciest Druid.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I've done the Eisteddfod. I'm a member of the Order of Bards, Ovids, and Druids. Don't really like going to the events because there's a lot of that, and I'm just sitting there. But yeah, I have a walking staff, which is not the one in the photo. it goes a completely different route here. So, putting a long story very short, I walked through a patch of woodland, barefoot. Trees were out, the leaves were out. I walked through the path. I'm only there by myself. It's a very quiet little woodland. I went down a path, turned around, and I walked the same path back. And as I walked back down this path, there was a stick leaning against the tree. And it was, where does it come from? There's nobody else here. So I thought it was a gift. I took it as a gift. Thank you very much. And I've kept it ever since.
Oh, wow.
Now, argument could be, is it from the deities? Or is it from a wild man? So
Is it in the Druid tradition? Because you've had years of learning the Druid traditions and rituals, I guess. Is there recognizable not deities, but is there figures like wild man in your traditions?
yeah, I mean, a wild man from mythology could be the Green Man. A wild man, is seen by many as the person for the outdoors, the protector of the land.
Well, we looked the other week we were talking about the Green Man and the follet heads and which sprouting leaves and other that you often find carved into churches and other places. And they were, as far as I can gather from doing research, they were kind of like a depiction of the spring, depiction of nature in bloom.
Yeah.
It was
well, let's imagine that you're back in those days as you can't read, you can't write, but England was a bit more greener than what it is. You're looking at the woodland and a face looks back at you. Now we would say, is it a wild man? Is it something, a creature in the woodland, popping its head out outside the trees and looking at you? And you go, oh, hello, that's a funny face. I'll carve that into the stonework. Possible,
right? Yeah.
Again, we don't know these things because a lot of information has been lost.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of guesswork. I mean, so you could say that this face is the Green Man. When in other fact it could be a wild man going, yeah, and watch, look at these people cutting this big building together. Ooh, and just be nosy.
Is it true that with Druids you of all the trees you revere the oak more than any other oak tree? I'll tell you why, because from Druids believed to come from the Celtic word for oak Noah.
You get oak groves, yes. As for trees, a yew tree is a very sacred tree. You will find a lot of people don't like to cut the tree. A Yule log is only taken from a dead tree if it's lying on the floor. You don't never take from the tree. What else? Holly is a very sacred tree. Rowan is a sacred tree. Put rowan up, it stops the witches from coming near your house. It doesn't work. Trying to find the one that stops the Jehovah's Witnesses coming to the house, but I think that's the holly.
How do you know it doesn't work though? How do you know it doesn't work?
I've tried.
You know there's a witch going to enter your house. I mean, if it was me, it would have been like some time back. But the mother-in-law,
Yeah, I'll be careful. My mother-in-law's a witch and she's downstairs.
You're not watching this. She's watching this, blimey.
Soon as find it.
Yeah, you've had your chips. You've definitely had your chips. Yeah, you'd be sleeping out in the forest tonight. Okay, talking about things that live in the woods. Just a little segue onto this. Dogman and your Dogman research. What made you start? What made a guy that you're very you strike me. I've spoken to you for a little bit now, haven't I? You know, over this week, and you're very matter of fact. You're not a Billy bullshitter, basically. You know, you know, you strike me as being quite sort of direct, honest, and blunt. And what makes a guy that like yourself say that you research so avidly about Dogman? What started it?
Right. So, in 2007, I was walking and rambling on the North York moors. I got to a place called Osmotherley. Now, Osmotherley has a ruined priory, but you go through the village right up past the chippy, and there's a little path road goes to a hermitage. It's a nice little out the way spot. And while I was up there, I thought I'd have a picnic, as you do. I went past the hermitage. I'm thinking, oh, for flip's sakes, the toilets at the back were closed. I can't go in there. I'll sit under the trees overlooking this farm. And I sat in the trees, I'm eating my sandwiches, and 200, 300, 400 yards in front of me, I mean, I've got a little path and a wall, and then it's just fields, farm. And the sheep, you've got to imagine that sheep are tiny, they're in the distance, but they're over here. And then something caught my eye. It looked like it picked up a lamb, and it went across the field, and then it stood up, ran at speed, jumped a wall, and then it ran. I'm thinking, what the is that? And I was interested, but I shouldn't be out here walking. Got home as fast as I could. When I got home, I started looking it up. What dogs come on? Dogs or shapes come on two legs. Can't be that. It can't be a werewolf. We don't have werewolves in this country. They're only myth and folklore. And then that got me interested. And then I stumbled onto some videos by the late Mitch Waite, who was an American Air Force major. He's since passed away. But for those people who used to watch his videos on Bigfoot research, he would basically wear the same clothes all the time, go out onto the Mogollon Rim in his little camper, not so much banging on trees or screaming, howling like a lot of these so-called researchers. But he would go out there and he would basically film like what you do with your stuff, and you'd film the countryside, and then you would comment on the video at tag this and at this if you saw either a face or image, and through that, it became a community. There was a small core value of us who would watch the videos constantly every week. An hour, 2 hours long. It's watching the video. I've got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
And then from that, you picked up. You learned sounds, calls, tree breaks, tree structures, footprints. Different calls meaning this, different calls meaning that, or what you thought were. And then from that, I started learning, UK wide, what do we have in the UK? So I started looking into folklore and thinking, well, hold on. If these creatures are out there in America and Canada and in South America, what do we have in Europe? What do we have in the UK? oh well, we can't have this, we can't have that. But I saw this creature running like that. So what's that creature? I don't know. I can't remember. Let's check it up. And it came up with Dogman, and I thought, well, that can't be real, can it? And you get the conspiracy theorists say, oh well, it broke out of Porton Down. Don't think so. I'm sorry. Porton Down's chemical, and that place is tightly locked up, so I don't think it's going to get out of there. Is there any abandoned tunnels, caves? Why? A friend of mine suggested the reason why the Margaret Thatcher shut the pits down is because they hit something down there, which was a tunnel for some things to climb up. You don't know. So from that research, I got into doing group research. I became a part of the Northeast research teams, which were 5 members in a team, 5 teams covered from Northumberland down as far as Scarborough. And I was the North Yorkshire group, and you'd have one non-believer in the group who'd question everything, which, to be fair, it helps. If you have it, I don't believe that a couple of twigs on the floor is a glyph. It must mean this. It must mean that. Off. It's a twig. It's fallen off the floor. End of.
Yeah.
if something's gonna crack a tree and make a signal like that, then they miss this twig on the floor, aren't they? Just imagine, a Bigfoot running through America. He said he put the marker out. I can't find it. Too many twigs on the floor.
Yeah.
So you question everything. So a lot of the videos I've watched, I question things and question that. We had 2 members of the team who were passionate about Dogmen, and we had 2 members who were interested in the Bigfoot question, but I upset everyone by saying we do not have Bigfoot in this country, period. The country's too small to have big 8-9 foot bipedal walking apes with corn heads. I'm sure we'd soon see them in the countryside if that was the case. There'd be a lot more campsites getting attacked.
I saw Diet last night. Well, I didn't see all of it. I only saw half of it because I had to get to bed because it was getting late and I had work next morning. I was like, bugger. But the half I saw, it was that new David Paulides film, Missing 411. But he done a film on the Bigfoot, man, myth, or monster, and I watched it. And it's a lot more affordable than the Time for Disclosure, put that way. And also I've seen a few things about Time for Disclosure as well. So it's like kind of starting to come out. I thought it was really, I did say when I done a little video, I said, really well edited, which it was very well edited, but well edited also from the point of view of cherry picked editing, if you know what I mean. So it takes what people say and in different contexts, and it alters what they're meaning. So but anyway, this with Man, Myth, or Monster, really good, and very genuine. It had a lot of a lot of Bigfoot people, big names in the field on that, and they're all pointing towards the same thing, that they are not, they're physical because they leave footprints. They're physical because they interact with trees and whatnot. And there was one where a woman, she was an American Indian, I believe she was. Anyway, she was at home on her own. She lived out in the sticks. Her husband had gone off working, and she heard something heavy padding round the cabin. And now this woman, you'd absolutely, you can tell that she's not making it up. She's genuine. When she was talking about it, it was in the way of her. Polidas had turned up at her door and was sat in the lounge talking to her, and she was having like a coffee, American, so having a coffee and having a chat, and she was absolutely scared when she mentioned that she heard padding, heavy footsteps around her cabin, and then the doorknob went, and then the door opened, and she said this large, hairy man. That's the way she described it. It was a man, but hairy man was just looking, staring at her. And she wasn't scared at the time. She just froze, and then it turned and ran off. The pace of it went is crazy fast. But the way it's all pointing when you're watching the film is towards they're using portals. There's a paranormal element to them, Di. There's a paranormal element. I think the same goes for Dogman, Di.
Well, at the end of the day, we are researchers. We're not experts.
Mm.
We're here to study, learn, look, learn, listen, write it down. I mean, that Finding TV program where 4 people go out into the woods, one's a skeptic and 3 people are claiming to be experts at screaming and banging trees. How many seasons was that they didn't find anything? I mean, experts.
Yeah.
Portals, possible. Another dimension, possible. Again, it's not for me to say yes or no, but I've got an open mind with that. It's like the argument of ghosts. You die and you go to the other side. If you're not Christian, you don't go to heaven. Where else do you go? A friend of mine said, "Okay, a cow dies in the field. Where's the ghost of the cow?" Don't want to go there. But yeah, where are ghosts coming from? Yeah, a ghost in the same, door we've gone through.
Yeah. Do you think it could be a case that all of these things manifest, and usually these things manifest to a individual or a very small group, but usually to an individual? I would say 75 to 80% of the time is usually an individual like yourself that saw something, pick up a lamb and went running across the field, went on bipedal on 2 legs and jumped over a fence. But you saw it. It wasn't en masse. It wasn't
the argument there is, was it down to, is it because I'm spiritual? Is it because I have Romani heritage? Is it because I like being outdoors? I saw that. Or was the Dogman creature not cloaked? Or was it running to get into a portal? Or, again, you don't know. I mean,
do you think it could be that these things manifest in a way that is perceptively acceptable to the individual? So Natalie might be the same origin. Natalie might see a ghost, or what you saw, Natalie, in the woods that time. You might see that. But Di would see a Dogman. I would come and I would see a Bigfoot. It would manifest depending on the person perceiving it. Do you think that could be it? Do you think it could be a central origin?
Possible. Anything's possible.
Interesting, isn't it? Because it's sort of all of these cases. When I was watching a film last night, it wasn't just the case that they saw a Bigfoot. What was most interesting was these people not only witnessed that, but in their life, they've also had experiences of paranormal, and that's what they don't get. They've had experiences of orbs. And it shows it on the film. But there's a photograph where this woman took this photograph, and it was with a instant camera, and it just shoots out. And it was as clear as day. It's a most fabulous orb, not just a white, furry, white kind of blob. It was a properly defined, almost like an eye. It looked like a blue eye. It was oddest thing. Have you had since seeing Dogman or prior to Dogman, have you had any paranormal stuff happen to you?
Oh, yeah, the house I grew up in was haunted. As a child, I was told I sat on the end of the bed talking to a little old woman. If we sat in our living room, and it's a shame both my parents have gone over to the other side, so there's no witnesses now. But because we had the front room door had glass in it, and the stairs were the other side. If you sat on the sofa and you could see from the corner of your eye, a black shadow used to come down the stairs and past the door. Never really bothered us. I've been before I got into the military, I was in the Army Cadet Force. I was an instructor. The building that I was in was an ex-RAF building on an old aerodrome. The building had been broken into previously. I was in the building by myself. I was up on the first floor, another part of the building. The building was locked. Power was on. Power went off. I don't know. That's not supposed to happen because it's a big, heavy switch. Came down the stairs, checked the building, put the power back on, checked the building again. Nope. Freezing cold, but only being there. And as I was walking up the stairs, an RAF officer in full dress uniform walked straight past me on the stairs, turned and went into the office, but had nothing from the knees down. It took me a week to go back in that building. And then, not long after that, there's a friend called Chris Huff. He won't mind me mentioning his name. He does a paranormal research for the Northeast. He has a YouTube page. And if you want to look it up, it's called Thornaby RAF. One of the videos, they go to the cadet building. He goes in the building, goes up the top of the stairs, and puts a REM pod box on the floor. And he basically has a conversation with the RAF spirits in the building in real time. And I'm stood there going, huh? Yeah. And it blows you away, it blows your mind away. It's
Is it Thornaby? What was it? What was the name of the group?
RAF.
Yeah. I mean, I've got.
I'll send you the video later.
Yeah. I've got a little. Oh, okay. Hold on. I've got it. Yep, I've got it. I just want to say in the comments, hello, Louis. Thank you very much for joining, mate. It's not often he gets the chance to join, bless him, because of working. But let's have a look. See if this is the one you mean. It was quite a while ago. This photo's taken. It's an early aerial photo of Thornaby Aerodrome. A plane. Oh. King George for having at Thornaby.
Yeah, Thornaby used to be a coastal bomber squadron place. The original planes that flew from Thornaby found the prison ship, the Altmark, in the Norwegian fjords.
Okay. Thornaby Aerodrome. Maffy. Okay. All right. Oh. So It's funny that you mentioned about the black shadow walking, running past the door, coming downstairs and running past the door. I remember uh, years and years ago, I sort of, as boys do, I fell foul of one of my girlfriends at the time, and she kicked us out, and I was like, oh, okay. Back to mother's. Hello, mum. I'm back. Oh, what are you doing back for? Oh, well, not again. She kicked you out. Yeah. Oh, so oh, your room's there then. Right, so thanks, mum. Okay. And I remember being in the lounge, and I kind of was watching TV. Mum was out at the time, and she had a glass frosted door between the lounge and the hallway. Anyway, no light was on in the hallway. It was, in the evening, dark. So the hallway was dark. Anyway, blow me down sideways. If this blacker than the dark hallway mass went past the window, but it was very low level, like it was a large dog, went past the window. It's just black, and it caught my eye. I thought, oh, that's a bit. Do you know? You just like you sort of question yourself. Oh, I just see something move out there, and I went out and I turned the light on, couldn't see anything. Always had a bit of a bad feeling about it. Was a masonette it was a custom made masonette, one of 4, and this was a ground floor one. But always had a bad feeling in the walking up the side passageway, because the front door, being a ground floor one, was on the side of the building, so it's like long narrow passageway coming from the garages at the front, or the front yard and the pavement at the front. It was very narrow, very dark, and it felt bad. But the hallway, yeah. And I said to Mum, I said, oh, you saw it as well, did you? Yeah. I said, what, you see that often, Mum? Oh, yeah, quite often, Phil. Yeah, because there's nothing. It's what you see it, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's like a really black thing going past. Not very big though, is it? No, it's not, Mum. And so I used to see that regular at hers through the window, and you saw the same type of thing. Odd. So once again, is it a case that you get these people that poo-poo it? I don't believe in any. I don't see anything like that. Is it like, I know with Natalie, she's seen, she's had paranormal experiences. The same, haven't you, Nat?
Lots of random different ones. I've seen orbs, shadows, figures, or senses. I've seen things that look like black lace falling from the sky, or like say with the animals, it's like one of the cottage we used to live in Wales. Every so often when you'd come in and open the door, there'd be like a dog that run past you, and you'd always look down and you'd be like, what was that? And it took me a little while to realize it was like a dog. And so I've seen spirit horses as well. And yeah, so I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. And like say things in the woods, or shadows, shadow figures, all sorts. So it's like that's what amuses me when people say about the very often paranormal experiences, and they lump it into one category or another. Whereas, like you say, when you're out in nature on your own and you're kind of just vibing, it's multi-layered. It's It's like when you said, where do cows go? And I was like, well, back to the cow collective to become another cow. It's like, it's like I don't think we tend to have ghost animals very often, because they just go back to their source. But I think the more conscious an animal is, the more likely it is to be a spirit afterwards. Both of my horses are. So it's like, and like I say, I've seen dogs and things. I haven't seen so many wild animal spirits, but then, to be fair, not really been out in the wild to see it, or like say farm animals and things. But there's always one you find with farmers and things as well. They always have one animal that's like a pet. Because they always say never name the animals, and it's like, but they always have one somewhere, like a cow or a sheep or a pig or something, that's escaped the pathway of of everybody else. So, I always find it a little bit strange when people sort of like reduce the paranormal to, you know, like with paranormal investigators, where their sole aim seems to be a full-bodied apparition, and you're like, you're missing 99% of paranormal experiences that way. In a way, I feel, because that is, you know, my theory was that orbs are people in spirit, because a circle's an efficient shape to be in. So we're body shaped because we're in a physical body, but once we go out, we sort of ping back to a circle. So that was one of my theories on the orbs. But yeah, it's yeah, no.
With the guy response to pets, in my mother's house, I mean, my auntie used to have a little a Lakeland Terrier, a little stumpy tail. We absolutely adored her. She came to our house often. And, she was a part of the family. But when she died, she was in another house, the other side of the town, and she's still buried in the garden under a rose bush. But my mother said to me, "Yeah, you've seen it, haven't you?" I was stood in the kitchen washing up, and I turned. I was talking to my mother through the hallway, and I could see this little brown dog run down the hallway and into the back room. And hello, I've just seen Cleo. My mother turned and said, "Yeah, I saw her the other day." So yeah, dogs are part of the family, and we treat them like part of the family. So if they're gonna hang around us, they'll stay around us.
Yeah, dogs seem to be more capable of being in their shape than a lot of things for some bizarre reason. Because it's I mean, with horses, I tend to find that they quite like channeling through other horses rather than appearing as a shape. But you sometimes know when they're around, even if you can't see them, if you know what I mean, because they'll channel through other horses, and they'll look at you and they'll do exactly what the passed on horse used to do. And you're just like, oh, you know, hi, you've popped in to say hello, and then they're gone again, and then the horse is back again. And I've also had horses. One of my friends had one horse, and she swears down that the soul of another horse came in that she'd lost, came into this horse that she acquired. She said because he was one kind of personality when she got him, and then he just seemed to, like, you know, go a bit strange, and then all of a sudden his personality changed and he became like the horse that she'd lost, down to all the mannerisms and everything. And we reckon that when she got him, his soul sort of like left, and her old horse came into the same body, like a walk-in. You know, with people you have the theory of the walk-ins. And she swears down, and he was a completely different horse afterwards. It was very strange. We had this conversation quite a few times, because she used to see her old pony's legs in amongst the herd, and her mum would be like, "There's only supposed to be 5 horses in that field, but I swear I can see 6 sets of legs." But yeah, but dogs seem to be very much able to hold a shape. You know, I've seen a brown lab in a house that I was cleaning, and it even scratched on the door because I thought it was their two dogs. I opened the door and there's nothing there. And but I then sort of saw a brown lab sort of go past, and then I found out that their 2 dogs were in one of the different rooms, and they'd got a Chesapeake Bay and a mongrel. And I was like, no, this is definitely a brown lab. So it's like, you know, and I couldn't even tell you why I knew it was a brown lab, but I sort of half saw it. So yeah, it's quite interesting, like all the different ways that they manifest, I think. And like you say, whether it's your perception that allows them to manifest a particular way, or whether they have a stronger, like you say, consciousness from being around people more, or, you know, so they're more individualistic. I don't know. It's something that I ponder.
Well, before I moved to sorry, very quickly, I'll let you talk.
That's fine.
We'll bring you back into the conversation in a minute. Yeah, before I moved here to where I am now, I lived in a house with my partner and a friend, and occasionally on the night time we used to see this white bit of What the flipping hell's that? You've seen I mean, we didn't put the TV on, so we have an open log burner. It's into the room, small house. Yeah, I've just seen a white thing go like that. Then we went. It's only when we we all moved out the house. He brought the ashes of the cats he had with him, and it's you're supposed to have scattered them, not keep them in the cardboard box in the loft. No wonder we had cats in the house.
I just want to say hello to Mike from MT Paranormal. People, if you haven't checked out his channel, I'd advise you check out his channel. He's another brilliant investigator. Boots on the ground. He gets out there in some of the sketchiest forests and woods you could want to meet. He's primarily a paranormal investigator, but he has come across some really fluky stuff, really strange stuff as well, not just paranormal. So, but yeah, I just want to say hello, Mike. There is a comment I just happened to see from Nayfair. Right. Okay. It makes sense about Phil, because I think Dawn Sasquatch was saying that Phil, but bless her heart, Phil wants to get to the truth and gathering information, wants to get to the truth. Okay, makes sense about Phil gathering information, but they are here to hurt us. Who is fighting back? Does the government kill them? Right. Okay. Now I guess you're talking about Dogman. Okay. Now, for a start, it's something which there's good and bad in every single sentient being. It's something which has been given to us, the right and wrong, and the choices that we make and decisions we make, which affect others, which others can take as being good or bad. You do get the occasional times with people, as with animals, where they go a bit crazy and they're affected, or they have a disease, or they're and they become rabid, or they become just chaotic. They become uncontrollable. But to pigeonhole a whole entity like Dogman as being inherently bad and will hurt you is wrong. That's not right. It's like the same as saying that Janu is a great big giant that goes around destroying all the trees. It's inherently wrong to pigeonhole everything. There's three different types of Dogman. You get what they call the type 1, type 2, type 3. The type 3 is the warrior sort, the ones that all the AI tend to depict the most, because it is the most dramatic. It's the chiseled, angular, triangle shaped body, small waist, massive big legs, massive
Looks
big
like
arms.
Looks
Yeah.
like what?
Anubis, and it's got pointy ears.
Yeah. Anubis, exactly. Almost like if you were going to create a predator of all predators, that is the type of thing. That's the way it's depicted in the AI. Very much so. It looks an awful lot like that, but not identical. Then you got the type 2, which is the more gorilla type, which has got the flatter face. But each one has its own. The type 2 is really quite docile. It's like a big lumbering. A lot of people take it to be, like Di said, we don't have Bigfoot, Di said, in this country. But a lot of people take a type 2 Dogman to be a Bigfoot because they are very broad, they're squat, they're quite fat, if you like, but they're really built. Flat face, no big muzzle coming out. And then you've got the type 1, which is more of a. Now, the type 2, must mention the type 2. It normally, if it's looking, it's like a bit like meerkat, like a big meerkat. If it's looking around, it will go quadrupedal, bipedal. If it's looking around, 2 legs, you'll see it like standing up. But if it's running, it has to run fast. It will go quadrupedal. That's the type 2. The type 3, almost always it finds it easier, okay, to be bipedal, upright. If it's running, it has to run at speed for some reason. I don't know why, but it goes on from quadrupedal to bipedal to run at speed. And that's why people often see, a dog stood upright. It went running along. It just stood up. What? Hang on. But if it's type 2, it's just the opposite. And then you've got the type 1, which is more of a large dog. They are not all here to do us harm. Not at all. Okay. As for trying to get rid of them, good luck with that. Okay. They're not something which you can easily look. Bigfoot. Okay, just take a Bigfoot. Right, you often find with hunters where I went to shoot it and I went to shoot it with a bullet and it didn't hit. I was spot on. My crosshairs were right on it, but I did not hit it. Or I hit it, but it didn't seem to make any impression on it. These things are there is a paranormality about them. There's something which makes them morph out. There's something, either it's a portal, there's something which allows them to blend, to morph out, to do the Klingon cloaking device type thing. There's something which is tentatively close to understanding, but we're not quite there because we don't have the technology to gauge it. We don't have that technology yet to have that to recognize what they're using. And no matter how much we can guess, no matter how much we can, but when Layfair's saying about they're all bad, they're not. A type 2 is really quite docile. Honestly, there's a type 2 right close to where I am. I'm absolutely close. I've seen it, and I very often. I visit it. It's very often I see it. Docile, big, but docile. But so that's quite wrong. I just want to clear that up. You can't just go about saying, "Oh, they're honestly, Nath, really, seriously, mate." But other than that, no, that's my little rant over with. Anyway, we're interviewing, aren't we? I die.
I would just add into that little conversation from my research and from the years of doing it. I would say that dogmen are more the protectors of this world. They're here to keep everything in balance and keep it in. They're not interested in us. If they were, then we'd have more kills across the country. But they're not interested in us at all. They'll ignore us if we ignore them.
Right. Can I ask you something? And this goes to you as well, Natalie, and people at home. All right. Let me ask you this. Now, let's take it to be a type 3 dogman, the one with the long muzzle, the claws, and the looks like something which has been generated as some people would say, the government's made it, they've genetically made it into a fighting kind of ultimate soldier. They haven't, but
just trying to, the Labour government is screwing the country up. I can't see them making
how the hell they could never get anything like that together, for God's sake, could they? Honestly, they have a hard enough job as it is just finding a toilet in Parliament, I think. I mean, they're absolutely everywhere. It's not a politics program, but yeah. Starmer, you prat. But so what I was going to say was, right, just take it like this. But my question is, through evolution, every animal through evolution, its surroundings and environment has dictated the way it looks, even to the point of its prey. it will evolve certain traits depending on the prey that it has grown to feed upon. Do you see what I mean? If it's feeding upon a rabbit, it's going to be lightning quick. It's fast twitch muscle groups are going to be like boom, like that off. If it's feeding on something big, prey, an elephant, a cow, or whatever, it's gonna become more of a pack animal. Okay, to bring that large creature down as a pack, it's going to have. So all creatures, including ourselves, because we've lost a lot of good things. We've lost a lot of our eyesight. You know, our field of view has deteriorated. We don't have fur all over to protect us because we've got these silly things, which is not a bad thing when you see my gut. But so we've got this. We've lost an awful lot of senses. Our sense of smells, awful. Our sense of hearing, awful. Because of evolution, because we've done this to ourselves, we progressed, and as we progressed, we've lost a lot of things which we ordinarily would have used in nature. We would have needed, because we would have been prey as much as predators in nature. But back to my question, with the type 3 Dogman being the way it's in, going by that evolutionary stance, why does it look like that? What would its prey be? Why would it have such claws and teeth?
Well, thinking of its environment. So a lot of research will say it travels up and down the country. Research says that we don't have a vast amount of them. We've probably got a very small handful of them, if anything. They're not a big breeding population, so again, small. If they're traveling from the Cairngorms down the country and then back up the other side, that's probably where they're being seen, here, there, and everywhere. They'll be staying rural, so they'll be in old mines, in caves, in old buildings. You know, a lot of urban explorers say they hear loud sounds in empty buildings when they go walking around with the torch. Not something I can do anymore. You know, I get scared just going to the toilet in the dark. I've got to but yeah. So what are they eating outdoors? Well, there's plenty, you know, seasonal wise, there's a lot of dairy cows in fields all year round. There's a lot of sheep on hills. So again, a lot of meat. We've got a lot of deer in this country, a lot of rabbit, foxes, badgers, a lot of roadkill. Any stray dogs that wander off the leash might disappear. I think there was a video somewhere of a bodybuilder in the UK. Was the UK or the US? Who basically went on a carnivore diet, and he got ripped just from changing his diet from fruit and vegetables to meat only. You know, his weight went and he jacked up. So if bodybuilders can do that, a creature living outdoors eating venison, beef, lamb, you know, rabbit and so forth, maybe catching the odd seal along the coast, you know, if they're in Scotland, if any dead whales wash up, then you got blubber and whatever meat. So I mean, there's plenty of food out there for a creature to get. And there's plenty of exercise running around and fields. I can't really imagine them in the woods going, "Oh, I've got a tree trunk." Oh.
Deadlifting the tree trunks.
Yeah. I need to do a couple of sit-ups. Yeah,
Maybe that's what the branch cracking is. It's like they're doing the sit-ups in the trees.
Yeah, pull that branch over, pull that tree over. Right, Oh, hell, there's somebody coming.
I honestly do think that they we're dealing with something a little bit bigger. And this is what I think. I think that the reason that they look the way they look is because they are, like you said, they're rightly so. They look like Anubis, and they are natural, the most natural and indigenous protectors of this planet. And the reason that they look the way they look is because they have to protect the planet. And I think and this is the tinfoil hat time, okay, guys, but I think that if they would come into their own, if the planet was threatened by something else, I think that's the reason why they look the way they do. I think that when people take pot shots and the bullets don't hit, and we often see Dogman and they just disappear in a blink of an eye, they almost disappear into the forest, and they're just like, how did they do that? How did they? We have to understand that every day we see things which naturally they change states. And I think what we do, take for instance, my cup of tea is a liquid. If I heat it up, it turns into a gas. If I go out into the cold and it's cold enough, that will turn it into a solid. So that one drink has many states it can turn into. And it's much the same with what we're dealing with. And I think that is why when we see orbs, and very often we see orbs associated with these things that we see, and we see orbs associated with paranormal. I think it's a matter of change of state. And I think in a way, Natalie, you're completely right when you say that, with ghosts, they are, in a way, spirits. They're a state of energy, a changed state of energy. And I think it's utilized the same with Dogman. I think it changes states. Bigfoot changes states. I mean, Keith will tell you that with the Xanu, they shimmer. You can see a shimmering. It's a change of state. That's all it is. But to us, it's like, wow, and it looks like heat on a road. It's that sort of shimmer. But I think essentially they look the way they look is because they are truly warlords of the planet. And I think that they will come into their own if needed anytime. And I think, it could well be that, it's a good thing to have them. It's a good thing. I'd rather have them, the Dogman, than I would the aliens, which take you on board a ship and start shoving things in you and, have no idea what um, and it's not a nice sort of shoving things in you.
Ricky's
It's
been
usually
drinking
needles
the
that
wrong
go
cup of
into
tea.
your brain and things like that. That's not a nice thing. So that's what I believe anyway. But who knows for sure? Like nobody knows. It's just a supposition on my part, as it is most people's.
So, do you both think that Dogman was here already? Because there's that other theory that Dogman was something that was left behind by other races.
Phil and I have had this conversation previously. I mean, back in prehistory, Xenocephali or the Dogman or the Dog people they lived in northern India in the mountains there. They were well known for traveling and masters of the ocean. They could travel anywhere. I think it was, you were saying it was Alexander the Great had something to do with them, Phil?
Sorry, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Cynocephali, a race of people. They're Indian in origin. I believe the part of India was called Uttar Pradesh, in a cave system up there. It's a very inhospitable place. Anyway, I had a report. Probably repeating myself, but for people that don't know, I had a report some time back from a police officer in India. Anyway, he got in contact with me. He wouldn't come on camera. He didn't want to be known, but there was a bit of a massacre in a village. Now, one village was close by to another, about 5 miles distance, which is close, in Uttar Pradesh. It's like kind of because it's sporadically placed, all these villages, but 5 miles is nothing for them to walk. I mean, I find it hard walking to a Tesco's Express personally, but to walk 5 miles to get, but they think nothing of it. And one evening, it was basically the whole village was massacred. A lot of people went running off, and there was one old lady left. And when the police came, the local police, they turned up in jeeps and that, and they interviewed her and said, "What went on? What happened?" The other village, the people from the young men from the village, the young men, and that's what they thought. Sorry, that's what the police thought. She said no, because they said, was it the other village? Because there was like one village doesn't like the other because of the land. The arable land is like very sparse because it's so rocky and so cliffy, and like it's not very good arable land. So any bit of growing land they can find in an area is like gold dust because that's food to them. So one village will hate another, and they'll sort of like kind of have this thing going on between villages. So the police automatically thought it was the young guys that come over and get rid of you, go, leave the village, go, get out of the way, go, leave this village so that we can have the land and grow. And the old lady said, no, these men came, but they had dogs' faces. Alexander the Great was a fantastic tactician. And he kept immaculate records. Really, I was so lucky. He kept really good records, and he would invade. And if he invaded and saw me, he'd go, right, tell you what, Copval, all right, you either fight with us, okay, you can go at the back, you can fight with us or make tea, okay, or we'll get rid of you. And I'll be like, I'll tell you what, I'll join you. That was how he bolstered numbers in his army. He came across the Cynocephali and he said that they were expert at spear and they were expert shieldsmen as well. They had like clothes like cloaks. They spoke to each other in barks. Anyway, they were fantastic fighters, very, very quick. Extremely, it was documented saying that they were very fast. You could hardly see them when they ran through the forest and stuff. Through the ground, not forest. So they ended up, because they were outnumbered, outgunned. The Cynocephali ended up being scouts for Alexander the Great, scouting for him, and they were superb, absolutely superb. Yeah, that's what you meant, isn't it, Di?
Yep.
Yeah. So we have this, don't we? We have this sort of history of kind of dogmen all throughout history. Ancient Egyptians, obviously, Anubis.
Yeah, so there has to be a grain of truth in there. I mean, the Egyptians knew about them, Alexander the Great knew about them, but when it comes down to modern history, we don't know about them. But we somehow managed to take that bit of whatever we find information and then make horror films out of them. So there must be some truth. We must get the truth from somewhere.
Well, like an ancestral memory almost.
Yeah.
Like you always get these themes cropping up, don't you? And it's like we can't seem to drop them. So it's like, it does make you wonder. But the thing that got me about the Dogman thing, what you were saying about what they were eating and everything, and I was like, usually like predators, they're quite tall. So it's like, and the amount of prey that we have in the UK is not like, I suppose if they are eating beef and sheep, it is larger prey, but you would expect them to have gotten smaller over the centuries because of that.
Well, while we're talking about that, what just popped into my head was look at us humans. We're all different shapes and sizes at the moment, but during the 1940s, when we had strict rationing, everybody basically thinned down, stood up tall. We were all a lot leaner, a lot more fitter. Can you imagine what we'd all be like if we were all on a correct diet without eating fish and chips, junk food, takeaways? We would be like, Dogman. We would all be thin, fit, tall, healthy.
I suppose that is true, because when you look at the, like the survival programs, I used to like watching the Bruce Parry's one years ago, and he's I think was he an ex-marine or he was ex-military that was fairly hardcore, and he used to have trouble keeping up with some of the tribes people that he went and visited, around the world, and I think there was one of them that lived in the forest, and he was like, I can't keep up with them. It's like, and these little dudes are like running through the forest for 6 hours. And he's like, I'm ex-military and I don't understand how they're so hardcore. But I suppose you have a point there, don't you? Because it's like, if you're not eating eating your sweets and fish and chips, you would be stronger and tougher. And
yeah, I mean, if you look at us, when we're cold, we wrap ourselves in big, fluffy jackets. We go to bed with, I go to bed with 2 duvets and a hot husband, but, he cuddles me, he loves it. Yeah, we go outdoors, we eat out, on stones. If you live outdoors and you don't wear shoes, your feet become toughened and hardened, and you can move a bit faster than the rest of us going, we'll just stop the stone. So
It's
strange. I don't think I sometimes think, me and Phil were talking about it a little while about history and the context of it. And like you were saying earlier, with the Green Man, is like it was a lot more vegetative and we had a lot more forests and things. And as relatively urban people now, we don't think about that context, because we can't understand it, if you know what I mean, because we don't have that vegetation. We can kind of imagine it, but living in it is a whole different thing. So like you say, it's like being in woods all the time and all your life that are heavily forested woods that go on for miles and miles and miles is a whole different experience than being in your little local woods that's like 30 acres type thing. And it's like it does change your mindset and your understanding of things. So it's like I sometimes think, like you say, when you're sitting on your sofa with your fluffy your hoodie on and your fluffy blankets and things, you don't kind of, I don't think you can understand to the same degree, what things were really like, or what people were like, or what living like that was like. So it is a bit harder to sort of
it's like those of us up north to compared to people down south. I once, I lived in Horsham for a while. I think it was in November. I had a freshly shaved head. Try and imagine me without a beard. Skinhead. Skinhead sort of thing. Trojan. I got jeans, boots. I got a shirt on. Short sleeves. And I'm quite happy just walking through the community. Everybody else is running around in big puffer jackets, cold, woolly hats, and thinking, a bunch of softies. This isn't cold. You're going to go up north, it's cold.
Yeah. I used to be like that. It's like I don't have visitors because my house is usually between 14 degrees and 18 degrees max, and it's like in the winter, and everybody else's houses are on like 24 degrees and 22 degrees, and it's like I can't cope with their heat. And they walk into my house and are like, when are you putting the heating on? I'm like, what do you mean? This is perfectly comfortable. I don't understand what you're talking about. But I suppose the context of it is different. But and the environment, like you said before, the environment of it, it's but yeah, I wonder if like so do you think the Dogmen do travel that far from like, you know, Scotland all the way down south, or do you think there are like more regional variants possibly that travel around but not that extensively?
From the research groups that we have been working with and over the years, there is we do think that they travel up and down the country.
Okay.
We're aware of that. There is a group in Scotland that come, in the Cairns, the northern Scotland area. I think there was a farm that was attacked. I seem to remember that. Anyway, but yeah, we have, especially for Yorkshire, we know that there's been sightings in Northumberland, Durham area. There's a certain part of the North York Moors where they've been seen, on and off. And then Hull has a reputation for one Dogman.
All right.
Because every time you mention it in Hull, it's old stinker this and old stinker that. But that was one dog man that they may be seen 30 years ago, but still brought up.
Yeah.
But how do you get from that side of East Yorkshire to Lincolnshire to come down the country? You've got to come over a bridge. And there have been occasional sightings. People seen a large, creature running at speed across the bridge. Because one side of the bridge is the Humber Bridge it's two lanes, central barrier, but you've got two cycle paths on the outside. One side is open to all traffic, the other side is closed for general maintenance. So the only time they ever open it is when they do a charity run, because they go over the bridge this way around and back up the other side. So if you're traveling across the bridge, you're not going to be on this side where all the cyclists and the public are. You're going to ignore the bridge, and you're going to go on the far side, quick run down the bridge into the trees. And we've had sightings of that, so we know they're going up and down the country. Population wise, probably no more than 10, 15.
Oh, really?
We know there's not that many of them, because we're not like the United States. We're not a big country. We don't know what their breeding cycle is. I have absolute respect for them. I don't want to interfere with them. I back off. I leave them alone. It's like wild man. They're over there. I've got to leave them alone. I'm not going to interfere.
We've got to have mysteries in life, haven't we?
Oh, yeah, we need the odd mystery, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be boring if we didn't have mysteries.
Yeah. No, I agree. Are you okay to answer some questions from people, Di?
Yep, go ahead.
No comments?
I will just say for your friend who's the chap that likes looking around woodland and paranormal, if he's
Mike.
Mike, if you're watching, there's a woodland near Gisborough in the northeast of England, very paranormal. Go and check it out, please. And
Mike's in the States. Mike's in America.
Oh, well, what a shame. Okay.
You'll have to have a UK tour.
We need a UK one. Come over the side.
Yeah.
Go over the pond.
Yeah, but for sure, I would come up next year, definitely. Yeah, I would come up that way. Yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure how that would work. Hello, do you have any char? We've got Yorkshire tea or Yorkshire tea.
No.
Yorkshire
You have to sort yourself out there.
You don't want to know.
You'd have to sort yourself out there. You'd have to get some decent tea, mate. None of that Yorkshire. I'll do a bit of char's lovely, or masala char's nice. But you see, look, that's it. We've got Welsh origin and Indian sort of origin.
What about me then? Because I like Darjeeling.
Darjeeling. Oh yeah. You got a bit of Indian in you then, somewhere along the line.
I have no idea. I always wanted to do one of those ancestry things just for curiosity. But at the same time, then the conspiracy theorist bit of me is like, I want no one to have my DNA.
Oh, do you know, I know
My
that'd
family
be.
have done it. I mean, oh my god. My mother's side of the family, the Welsh lot, it goes past Owen Glendower and goes that way. My grandmother did it. Her dad was Irish and came from Macroom, County Cork. Her mother was from North Wales, but we didn't get much on that. But my dad's side of the family, the Romaneys started in Stockton-on-Tees. Then they went down to Gainsborough, into Thorn near Doncaster, and then down to Norfolk, and then they jumped over the channel and go as far as Germany, which is where I got some German tattoos. And then from there they go over to the Punjab in northern India.
Oh, really?
We've all got a bit of Indian.
Wow. That's a
Oh,
bit of a
need a
mix.
wobbly head. Yeah, yeah, no, that's good. I mean, you know, it's a crazy old world. I mean, I've got a book downstairs I was reading on, you know, we're talking about a bipedal standing up dog that has got a physique of a man and a head of a wolf. It does sound crazy. Oh, my lighting went. There you go, paranormal. But let's turn that up.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, he's
but
talking about furries.
we've also got stories. We've got.
It's suddenly gone mad in the studio.
I know it's gone
He's
crazy.
thinking of a body of this and a dog with a head. It's a furry.
We've also got crazies of crazy stories like I've got a book downstairs. I haven't started yet, but I'm going to. Jeff the Talking Mongoose.
Is that a
Have you
kid's
heard of
book
that?
or a literal?
There's a book. Yeah, it's a story, an account that was Nandor Fodor investigated it. It was a friend of Price, Harry Price. Was it Harry Price? No,
Oh,
what was his name? Yeah, Harry Price, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, paranormal investigator. Yeah. Nandor Fodor, Dutch, funny enough, Natalie. Dutch, Viking,
okay.
Anglo-Saxon.
Chris, are you sure?
Oh, I look like I should be in a horror movie.
You do. It's suddenly gone spooky.
I could get up and change it, but then my gut would go over the table and it just like everyone would be like, "Oh no, that seems too much." As soon as I got up. All right, let's see if we got questions. Do you think they migrate, Di?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else we got?
That one, yes.
Nice, succinct, to the point. How do you know that they are not being that you're not being tricked? What if aliens have set their mission by saying bad cryptids escaped when in reality they are merging into society, believing in Jesus is a play? Okay, then, right, 2,000-year-old play, right? All right. How do you know you're not being tricked? Well, I'm not sure. I mean, you know, I've been tricked. I've been tricked most of my life, to be honest. What if aliens have set their mission by saying bad cryptids escaped when in reality? Well, aliens haven't told me that cryptids have escaped for a start, because all I do know is aliens seem to be pretty awful. I've never heard of one witness saying that they've been taken aboard, abducted, and having a nice time. Wish I could do that again. All abductees seem to sort of have some kind of post-trauma, memory loss. All abductees seem to sort of be fearful of them. So they're not particularly a nice entity to have dealings with, to be honest. So there's that by saying cryptids escaped, in reality they're merging with society. Well, cryptids aren't actually merging with society, like Di said. They keep themselves very much to themselves. They're not really that bothered about us. They just live their time that they live their time. Believing in Jesus is a play. Well, it's a hell of an old play, and it's one of the archetypal plays which has not faltered, hasn't changed. I know you're not going to like this, Di, but hasn't changed its story for for age, essentially, in the Old Testament as well. I mean, that was a covenant between God and Jews. The Old Testament, let's face it, it was a promise. It was a combining of the people and God. That was the Old Testament, really. But it hasn't. There's parts of quite a few parts of it which later on now we've kind of like thought, Younger Dryas, the Great Flood. Yeah, that sort of works out. And it's kind of, so I don't quite get that, but anyway, Keith Aston Ploy, not sure, don't know.
It's saying I think he's saying ploy rather than play.
Could be play.
That would make sense. Yeah. Jesus' story is a ploy, or the alien thing is a ploy.
Yeah,
I'd rather say Jesus was a ploy, but I don't want to get into trouble.
Yeah, well, it's just
I'm not going to that heaven anyway.
Oh yeah, you're allowed to say that. You're a druid, so
yeah. Well said, Phil. Protect us from what, or who do they protect us? Aliens. I think all this talk of aliens, and like I said, aliens. We have a lot of people, witness testimony of about aliens, and it's like hot topic at the moment. But once again, when it comes down to the brass tacks of it, and all of these whistleblowers, they kind of boil dry after a while, and things get debunked, and what they say gets debunked. And the people that really need to know are the quiet people, the people you never hear about, you never will hear about, the ones that turn the key, that open the doors, that give you the answers. You'll never find out. We'll never find out. Because the ploy is that we shouldn't. Like Thatcher once said when she was asked about Rendlesham by that author, you can't tell the people.
Well, that's the though. I was just thinking maybe government's the ploy. When you said that they were sort of like, how can they possibly have all these secrets and be that competent? Maybe that surface level is the ploy. It's the distraction.
Maybe that's what we should get our heads about. Maybe we should think of it from a different angle with the aliens and all the rest of it, and what the government, know and don't know. Maybe we should be thinking if it is
a toy, so just pull the cord out the back and hello, my name's Keir Starmer. I don't know about alien, but
well, AI.
Not even that.
Not even that.
Don't get me started on politics.
No, we haven't got time for that anyway. What are you doing, Phil? We can't read that. I can't read out the comments because I can't see them.
The old light went, and it's kind of like the thing is that gets me, right, is if with the aliens business, let's turn it up a bit. With the aliens business, oh come on, where is it? There you go. Right, got it. Yeah, okay.
No one can hear you.
Yeah, so sorry guys.
Paranormal and DIY all in one show.
Yeah, there we are, isn't it? Eh? Look at that.
You're going to build a house.
Yeah.
And gardening as well. We know how to grow veggies now.
So I mean, the thing is, we've got to understand it. If with the aliens, we kind of know that there's something going on, and it's ramping up. Whatever it is ramping up, or our perception of it is ramping up. They're seeing it more. It's more frequent. It's kind of becoming a bit it's coming a bit every day, you know, that type of thing, especially with the orbs and stuff that we see. Not the orbs that we were previously talking about. They're different. They're energy orbs. These steel orbs you see flying around, they're those ones. What I think we should ask ourselves is it that they can't disclose or won't disclose because it's actually not withholding from us because it's so you know, it's so advanced and we're not ready for it? Maybe we should look at it as being they're holding back because it's potentially dangerous for us.
There's information out there that either we need to know or don't need to know. Can you imagine the government around the world telling the ordinary people the truth? There'd be panic on the streets. You know, there's panic buying when somebody's got a cold. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 2020 was a
you've seen
great.
it on. You've seen it with COVID. You know, the shops are bare. You know, that's for a week. You know, can you imagine say, "Oh, we've got a hangar over there. It's got some aliens in." You know, the foreign cabinet is well, they're all made up of interdimensional beings. Yeah, there'd be panic.
It'd be interesting to see what
ordering a takeaway.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see though. When we toilet roll this time, will it be like aluminium foil or or something similar?
Guys, we can't mention the C word, all right?
The C word.
That COVID.
2020.
That word. We can't mention because otherwise, you know, they kind of like no, you know, that's another conspiracy on itself, though. But yeah, it's. I mean, I just hope that they're not. Well, if the aliens are tea drinkers, you know, that's going to be absolute war. Can you imagine, Di?
It'll be murder. You know, can you imagine
That'd be
going
awful.
on alien
That'd be
spaceship?
awful.
They've only got died
it's like
doing char.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if they
Well,
came
We
down and they
soon
started
find
getting
out,
like
wouldn't we?
the robots out of the Smash, you know, mashed potato smash.
Yeah, we're here for your mashed potato.
Yeah. Tastes like the potatoes
Yeah.
and they call it
It's just it's one of these things. I don't know. I kind of like I've got a feeling that that's what Dogman's all about. I think you are right, Di. I think it's sort of the protector. I think the Janu or Bigfoot, as we know, or Sasquatch, are also indigenous, if you like, or you know, they're protectors of this earth, and I think they're protecting from. Because I do think aliens are about. I mean, you know, it's got, like Monty Python said, there's got to be life up there because there's, you know, there's got to be intelligent life up there. Monty Python said, didn't it? Because there's bugger all down there.
We can't be the only intelligent planet in the solar system. No.
Can't be. No.
We use the word intelligence loosely here, don't we?
Yeah, it's because you know we've got reform in the country.
Oops,
I've done it again. Right, next question.
The area of Bosnia that my brother-in-law has ancient stories of the first werewolf documented. Okay, Bosnia. Thanks, Louis. All right. What do you think to the werewolf Dogman thing? Do you think are they the same thing or are they different, Di?
I would say they're definitely different. There's a difference. There's a guy out there called is it Joey? He's the one to talk to on this subject with a lot more in-depth detail. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, Dogman is a separate thing to a werewolf. As far as I'm aware, a werewolf is. I'm probably going to get wrong for this, but werewolf is Hollywood.
Just a quick one. Dragonborn Rising said, sorry, missed so much of this, Die. Do you belong to a grove?
Yes.
Okay.
Simple answer, yes. I'm a member of 2 groves, one in County Durham, Silver Bear Grove, and oh hell, I forgot the name of it.
Oh, you're going to be in trouble.
I'm going to be in trouble. Yeah. But yeah, I'm a member of the Order of the Order of the Bard, Ovids, and Druids. God, I forgot the name of the grove. Oh, I'm gonna get shouted at now. I can't remember the name of the
Just
grove.
say it's so sacred you can't say the name on YouTube right now because it's so special.
Can't remember it. It's a Welsh one. It's a long. I can't remember it. So it's Mid Wales. It's Mid. I know it's Mid Wales, but
Glamorgan?
I can't remember.
Okay. Okay. That's
But
fine.
yeah,
That's right.
I'm a
You're
member
a
of a
member of
grove.
2 groves. That's fine. God, you're in so much trouble. Nayfair said, but don't the Bigfoot fall into the category of giants or Nephilim?
No. If you look into research on the Nephilim are referred to as the beings come down from heaven. You know, we're talking early human. So tall humans, giants.
Nephilim came. Nephilim were the children of angels, fallen angels, which had canoodling time with human women and created Nephilim.
Yeah.
Which this is going by Book of Enoch, because it's prevalent. That's where people have got it from. It's prevalent, the Book of Enoch. And they were a race which were just they were not very nice. They had traits of their fathers, if you like, which were fallen angels. No, they weren't, because they're not bad. They're not. Then they're indigenous to our planet. They protect our planet, and they're good entities. Aliens are the bad entities. Are they giants? Yes, they are. You're talking that they've. I mean, you look at the Native Americans. Native American people talk about the wild men, giant wild men, and they interact with Native Americans. They help them. They the only thing they ask is you have a certain amount of respect for them. But that should be the same for, is the same if you meet a dogman. You first thing you do, you don't run. You have respect for it. According to some sources, Dr. Johnson, Dr. J, Bigfoot, Dogman, etc., are Christian. Yes, yeah. I wouldn't say Dogman. He hasn't said that. Dogmen are Christian. But Bigfoot, yes. He hasn't said Bigfoot. They like to be known as Janu, and he said that the Janu are essentially, on the Council of 12 on a Janu. They do follow. They don't follow Christian beliefs, but they do. But they predate Christianity. They're very, very old, but they come from another planet, another a dimension, if you like, through a portal, because their planet was breaking up. But they agree, and they what's the word? The Janu, by Dr. J, he said that they affiliate more with Christianity as a religion than any other religion. Bigfoot didn't come from fallen angels. That's from Sasquatch Sister Dawn. No, they didn't. Not at all. No, Bigfoot did not come from fallen angels. Not at all. No, absolutely not. Wrong. Yeah, you're quite right there. They didn't. Yeah. Right. I don't know if we got anything more. Oh, I tell you what I wanted to just quickly touch upon, Di. Right now, we did mention. I did sort of talk to you about this before. The FIFO, which is Fifaf or FIFO, is pronounced as, which Druids were believed to cast a spell called the FIFO, which allowed them to become invisible or change their appearance to evade enemies. Do you know? Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it, but personally, I think it's a lot of made-up gobbledygook. Yeah.
Okay.
That was succinct, wasn't it?
Yeah, gobbledygook. I like gobbledygook though. That's good.
Very succinct.
Sorry. My nanny used to say wished and nark it, and I love those old words.
Oh, my mum used to say wished.
Yeah. Wished, nark it. Yeah.
Do you know it's funny with the old day? My grandma, she used to what was it? You know, if you had a wart, she would actually wish it away, or no, she called it something else. If you had something on your skin, she'd be able to wish it away. You know, and it would disappear.
It's not a wish. Wished.
Oh,
wished.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say wished up. That was when my mum and my gran used to say that quite a lot. I know what you mean. It's be quiet.
Yeah.
I know it's you that weird on you, Phil.
Yeah, probably that. Druids were believed to cast a spell called. Oh no, hang on. Where was I? Weather control. That's it. They were masters of the elements. Druids were said to be able to summon a druid mist or shall druidisha. Sorry, I absolutely butchered it. To blind invading armies or hide their own forces. They could also call down fire from the sky or boil the water in a river to stop enemies from crossing. What do you think to that, Di?
The fire, I think, is absolute rubbish. As for controlling weather, it is possible. I lost touch with some friends from the northeast. There's a part of Teesside. For anybody who's in that area, you've got the Tees Barrage, and you've got 3 hills next to it. One is called Tor, Barrow, and the Henge, and the Tor one is the big one, big man-made hill. And we're doing a solstice, and there was a fair few of us, and we walked up the top, and I had my staff, and the rain was coming down sideways. And one of my friends complained, it's bloody rain this, and don't ask me why. There is a video. I can't remember where the video is. I don't have it. But I tapped my staff, up my arms, and said something in Welsh, and I'm not kidding you. The rain just went like that, and they were all, huh? So you can, to a point, whether it's divine or magical. Well, we'll put that down to unknown, shall we?
Okay. Well, the possibilities there then.
It's quite common in dowsing circles, I think, as well. That kind of, and the organ generators and that. So the idea of manipulating the weather is actually quite a common. I try it every year not to have snow right here. When you have storms and you're sort of trying to sort of move the storm around somewhere else.
Oh, I'd love to. Sun, please, come out some sun. Dowsing rods, as far as I'm aware, do work, but they tend to find water. having grown up in the northeast, I like the idea of what is it? They hang seaweed on the side of the house. If the seaweed's dry, it's a dry day. And if it's flapping like that, it's windy. if it's got some snow on it, it's going to be snowy.
I always said the only weather you can trust is the weather that you can see straight out the window. When everyone's going on about weather forecasting, I was like, the only weather you can trust is the weather you can see.
I mean, it's a bit
Yeah.
stupid. I mean, working in a kitchen garden, those who know me I used to, those old big, heavy woolen army jumpers. I used to wear them. I'd have a pair of trousers on, or a pair of shorts. I've got a polo shirt on, the work shirt, and then I've got this big, heavy jumper on. Rain, sleet, sunny weather. There's me that stood there like a dope. So this big woolly jumper on, drinking mug of tea in the garden. Yeah.
Would Di?
Hello.
Hello. Di, would Merlin look something like that?
No.
Do you think? Do you think Merlin would have been a druid?
The Arthurian legend says that Merlin was a wise man from the Midlands, bordering onto Wales, Hereford area. Excuse me. Said to be an old man. There's a lot of stories that say he was a druid, but as far as I'm aware, I don't believe he was. I mean, who can tell? We can't even tell if King Arthur was real. The only King Arthur I'm aware of is King Arthur, who is at Stonehenge with the warband and the head of the English Druids. A lovely chap, and if you ever get to meet him, he's absolutely divine to talk to. I once got pulled off by him anyway, many years ago. Very briefly, some friends of mine and me went to Stonehenge, and we're all standing there waiting for the sun to rise. And somebody said, "That's King Arthur." And somebody, the comment was, "How can you tell he's the king?" And I came out with that one liner from Monty Python, well, he's not covered in that like the rest of us. And he turned around and went, naughty.
Yeah.
Anyhow, next question.
Have we got any more questions, or is that it?
I think they're all in capitals, or supposed to be in capitals.
Yeah. Have we got any more? Any more?
He's talking about Arthur Pendragon. Yes.
Yeah. He's talking about Arthur Pendragon. Yes. Pendragon.
He's a lovely chap.
It's great, isn't it? I mean, it's such an enduring story. It's just, it's meat and drink to a soul like me, something like that. Sasquatch Sister said, has Di learned, or will he be taking anything different from the live tonight?
Probably take medicine before I come on next time.
Yeah, probably not to come on again, Di.
Oh, I want to come back. Can I come back next week? Can I be a regular?
Oh, I'm not talking to that big nose idiot again. I know that. That's what you're saying, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. Well, I'll tell you what. If that's it, I think I'll start lapping up, guys. It is now 9:18. We've been 2 hours 18 minutes. Is there anything you'd like to share with the people out there, Di?
Thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed it. Can I come back next week?
Yes.
And the week after that?
And the week after that?
I'll tell you what. Yeah. I tell you what,
I'm a
Nat,
fountain of useless knowledge. You know, my friends tell me my interests lay from open canoeing, wild camping, laying hedges, organic horticulture, the outdoors, paranormal. I came
this
out when I
is
was 21.
This is the home of useless
Um,
information.
Uh,
This is honestly,
I'm a
we
reenactor.
you know, we're not just like a Dogman cryptid. We do, isn't it, Natalie? We kind of like cover a whole vast array of different.
Yeah, I can build dry stone walls. So you can lay the hedges and I'll build the dry stone walls.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
I used to do that in Wales. Because we were surrounded by the things, so I had to repair them all. But it's just like big jigsaws. I used to really enjoy doing it. But yeah, so so you're not the only one with very strange.
Well, me and a few friends used to go out walking across the North York Moors, and we got bored one day, and we saw this wall that had collapsed. So we started repairing the wall, and not telling the local farmers. So every other weekend, we used to tiptoe onto the moors and find a patch of wall, and then rebuild it. And one day, a farmer caught us and said, "Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay you." We didn't give our names out, and we tittled off it. So we repaired some of the walls on the moors, and
I have to admit, when I was pony sitting up Duffield Way, my friend was like, "You're weird." I thought of you might enjoy going and seeing is it the National Stone Centre up towards, I think, Wirksworth. And I was like, "What do you mean I'm weird?" So I thought, all right, I'm going to go and have a look. And it's basically just examples of dry stone walls and everything. And I've spent like 3 hours wandering around quite happily going, "Oh, that's an interesting style. That's an interesting." It's in a quarry.
he's a boring factory. A friend of mine, Mark, a German chap. We were in the St. Cuthbert's part of Durham Cathedral, ignoring the tomb, ignoring all history. We were stood. A tour came in, start the tour, and they went out one door, and they take about 2 hours. When they came back, we were still stood in the same place discussing one column that had been chiselled out, perfect, as flat, a round bit, and then a flat to make a column. 2 hours talking about a chiselling.
The actual chiseling.
The actual chiseling on this comment. Oh, the tools they had just to do that and make this flat here, and it's all round. Can you feel it? Talk about boring.
They're old skills.
yeah. Right.
Now I do Second World War reenactment, so I run around battlefields getting shot at by my husband.
I bet he enjoys that.
He enjoys it. Yeah, it's the only punishment I get.
Dawn, I will get your photos up. Actually, what I can do, because Dawn's got some good photos of but hold on. Let's have a look.
I have a footprint of a wild man in a nature reserve. I can't remember where I put the photo.
Yeah.
So do you think there are still wild men in the UK?
Oh yes.
Nah.
Yeah. Oh yes.
And wild men are not related to Bigfoot then, they're separate.
Yeah. So as far as I'm aware, wild men are between 4 and 5'5", something like that. The small, hang around in woodland or areas of woodland. Yeah.
Right. Let's have a look. Okay. Right, I've got it here. See if I can just share this now. Okay, right. These are some photos, screenshots of video that I took, where Dawn's quite good at seeing entities. So just about there, she captured a entity, a Dogman entity, I believe. And then again, but see, once again, a little bit blurry because it's and just one hiding behind the tree here. So it's, you know, it's, I know it's not, well, that's really dark, but yeah, so she's really good though at capturing you know, screenshots of finding things in videos. Very often stuff that I do, she goes through and then shoots me a load of photos, which is brilliant, of screenshots she's found of stuff in the background. But I didn't have a chance to put them up onto the studio properly. I'm so sorry, Dawn, because I just was in a bit of a rush. I was late getting back from work, so it was a bit of a. Sean Patterson, how you doing? Glad you could make it. Yeah, he's a nice guy. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's it, guys. And definitely Di, we're gonna have you on again if that's all right. And I think you could be kind of like advisor when it comes to Dogman, anything to do with Dogman and stuff like that. Would you be okay with that?
Yep.
In an advisory capacity?
Yep.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, then you're channel advisor of Dogman then. Excellent. Brilliant. That's what we need. That'd be
You have
excellent.
to
So
be
next time
careful
we
with Bill Di because you end up in roles you don't expect. It's like because I ended up co-hosting by accident. So
Yeah.
it's like you have to be careful what you agree to with Phil.
Oh, it's all right. You know, like, this is how I got into politics years ago. You know,
Yeah, kind of like
would you sponsor me? I signed this form. The next thing you know, is I got elected to a town council for. Oh, for great.
Oh, at least you've got experience of ending up.
Oh, politics. Oh, I was an elected town councillor for Labour. I lasted less than a year in the Labour Party. I made a wisecrack joke. I got kicked out of their party.
It seems to be a bit of a theme with you, I think. Was it the wry humour?
I have a very dry sense of humour.
Yeah,
People
getting
either
you
don't
into
get it.
trouble.
For example, I was at a political thing years ago, and I was stood talking to the MP, and a woman walked past me and stormed off. And the MP said to me, "Something's wrong with her," and I just came out with it. She just found out someone's dropped a house on her sister.
Oops.
I shouldn't have said it, but you know, the MP was there howling. I should watch what I open my mouth sometimes.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah. No, I think I just want to say thank you, Joe Monica 6288, become a new member. Thank you very much indeed for that. Great to have you on board. Yes, I think anything like kind of because you've got quite a wide spectrum of knowledge when it comes to Dogman and also paranormality as well. I think it'd be good to have you on board, you know, Diet. So when we get a guest on, we need to get, you know, some questions together and just like ask them, you know, kind of what's going on. You know, we've got a bit of a with Natalie and yourself. We've got because Natalie's really good on the paranormal as well. So you know, it's kind of like gathering together the cream of the crop. You know, gathering together and people that you know have a good what's the word you know, a good standing from the point of view of you know, if you're wrong, you say you're wrong, which is what we need. You know, just honesty. It's like kind of you good grounding. That's what I meant to say. Both of you have got good grounding, like a lot of people that are watching. You know, everybody's got their own little niche, you know. So I'm very, very lucky. I mean, this channel, and I feel very lucky to have the people that we have got that are watching and are so active on the chats. Because each one of you contribute a portion of information that you are a specialist in, that you know about, which is great. And it all contributes and mixes up in the pot. And, we hopefully are just trying to get to the truth. That's all we're trying to do, guys, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's keep whittling away. So for sure, yeah. All right, Di, you're on board. Yeah. You're going to regret that.
Oh, joy.
Sleep easy. Yeah.
You've got
That's
to
it when you get a call
remember,
from me
Phil, now
next
you've
week.
got a northerner, a midlander, and you're from down south, aren't you? So you're
Well,
in trouble.
yeah. Well, actually, I was born in
We're
Hampshire,
heading up
to
the
be honest.
country slowly.
I was born in Hampshire, I have Aldershot.
Ooh, Aldershot.
Yes.
Ooh, no wonder he drinks that tea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very posh down that way. Aldershot, I don't know very much about it. I think from 3 years old, because Dad had the chance of, because he was an engineer who installed lifts, first of all. So like lifts in garages, the car ramps. He worked for a company called Kismet, and they used to install these big hydraulic ramps and stuff. And that's where he kind of remember him falling foul of Mum once, because he was like kind of a Indian bloodline sort of thing. He was born in Cambridge, but kind of his granddad was Indian when he came over. He always had that little bit of Indian where it's like kind of, well, if he can fix a car, he'll fix it rather than chucking it away. He'll kind of fix stuff up, Dad used to. I remember we lived by a dual carriageway called the A40 in Greenford, and because it was a dual carriageway, they widened it into a dual carriageway, so from a normal road, years and years and years ago, and they built a flyover. Anyway, they put in secondary glazing, and it was because they put secondary glazing in, and the local council paid for it, which is brilliant, and they put these like small air handling fans in, so it suck air in, and then it would recycle and blow it out again. These fans that went in the wall in each room, and they just hum away, constantly going. Like now, the council in a lot of bathrooms and in people's houses, they'll put a fan in, which is always running. It's always sort of ticking over, stop mold and things like that. Anyway, so I had these fans in, and one went wrong. So Dad, instead of calling up the council, he said, "Oh, I can fix that." Anyway, he fixed it, and then he had the idea. He thought, "Oh," because Mum was saying, "Oh, Pete, we really could do with a fan in the toilet," because we had like a small little separate toilet to the bathroom. So Dad got a ladder, and instead of buying a small extractor fan for the toilet, and remember, it was a small toilet on its own toilet upstairs, he put one of these fans in, didn't he? Anyway, this fan was in the lounge, and it was doing a big area volume. By the time he stuck it and drilled it, went up a ladder with it humping on his back, put it onto the wall. When you went in there for a tom tit, it would be like being in a wind tunnel. Your cheeks would be like this, the toilet paper would be flying all over the place as soon as the fan started up. And
You just imagine the neighbours. Oh, I don't know what they've been eating.
Exactly. Oh dear, that takes me on to another
food. Don't take it.
That takes me on to another little story, a real quick one. Mum's got diverticulitis. Okay, so when she goes, she has to go, and irritable bowel, IBS, sort of thing. And anyway, she had the bathroom she had the bathroom window open one day, and she'd just gone to the toilet. It's horrible, really. She went to the toilet, and a neighbour she went into the garden afterwards, And she saw the neighbour, and the neighbour was like sniffing in the air, and he said, "Oh, smells like smells like a lovely stew you're cooking." He thought she was cooking a stew. And Mum was like, Mum was like, "Oh, no, it's not a stew." So
Is your mother
just goes
still
to show
alive?
what people are used to eating, isn't it? You know.
Is your mother still alive, though?
Well, the neighbour.
No, is your mother?
Yeah, she's still alive, but she doesn't watch the
Well,
show
if
anymore.
if
She
she's
used to, but she
watching, you're
stopped
going to
it.
be for it.
Oh, I know. I
Why
know.
would you been telling people?
Well, it's little things like that, kind of like one thing leads on to another of me, and my brain kind of like, oh yeah, I remember that, and it's just like, yeah. Other than that, yeah, it's 2.5 hours, guys. It goes so quick when we're having fun. Listen, thank you both. I appreciate it for coming on. Everyone at home, I really do. I appreciate you watching. It's been a hell of a long one, but really, really interesting, isn't it, Natalie?
Yes, thank you, Di.
Thank you, Di. Really
Thank
do
you, Welsh,
appreciate
not
it.
Welsh, Di.
Yeah.
Here's the technical thing. So on my birth certificate, it says David,
All right.
but everybody calls me Di.
I think there's definitely.
My original surname was Booth until I got married, and then I changed it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong ancestral thing coming through, I think. Like an inevitability.
Right, Mr.
That's
Booth.
the story he's just been talking about with the bowel problem.
Yeah, I was thinking that this is where I needed. I was just about to cut him off, and he went on the next story. I was just like, I really need a button. It's like you can stop now, Phil, for tonight.
All right, then. You take care. Thank you very much. I'll say goodbye, Di. Thank you. See you again soon.
Yeah.
Right then, and yeah, thank you very much indeed, Nat. Until next week.
Yeah, I'll see you later.
See you later, mate. Right, and everybody, thank you very much for watching. Do appreciate it. Take care. Have a great weekend. God bless.